Welcome, friends, to an extra spooky episode of AVGM Journey, and I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we're playing into the show today is Get Off My Lawn from the game River City Girls 2, and it was composed and sung by Megan McDuffie. Just like every other VGM podcast, I wanted to get a Halloween/spooky sounding episode out there for you guys, and I think I like to say that I put together a mix of some pretty obvious stuff and some things that maybe you weren't expecting. So let's say we start off things with a kind of a fun one. And this is coming from the game Donut Dodo. This is Bonus Pumpkin Bounce. And this was composed by Scott Bialo, also known as CosmicGem. That track that you just heard, that was Bonus Pumpkin Bounce from the game Donut Dodo, and it was composed by Scott Bialo, also known as CosmicGem. Donut Dodo is a throwback to the old Nintendo arcade games such as Donkey Kong and Mario Bros. And that you play as this chef who goes after this giant dodo bird who stole his giant donut, and you have to collect all the donuts on a single screen stage. And that one of the levels is actually a bonus stage where you control this pumpkin and you have to bounce the chef off of the pumpkin and grab the donuts. I'm not sure why they went with a spooky theme for the stage, because it's unlike any other level in the game, but the song itself is pretty cool. It's definitely spooky. And with it being a bonus level, you don't have to get all the donuts, but it is good to get them all to get a high score. So it definitely has that arcadiness to it. I think we're going to move on to our next track, and actually it's going to be next tracks, because this is going to be a Then and Now, which is a segment where I play a original track and then I play an arrangement of it from a much later game. And for whatever reason, I always seem to do Mario Kart 8, and it's mainly because of the Booster Course Pass DLCs that have been coming out, and this one's going to be a focus on Boo Lake from Mario Kart Super Circuit. It was originally composed by Kenichi Nishimaki, Masanobu Matsunaga, and Minako Hamano, and that the arrangement was done by the Mario Kart 8 band. Those tracks that you just heard, they are Boo Lake from both Mario Kart Super Circuit and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it was originally composed by Kenichi Nishimaki, Masanobu Matsunaga, and Minako Hamano, and this was also arranged by the Mario Kart 8 band. Boo Lake is a really cool track in Mario Kart Super Circuit, and it was kind of a throwback to the Ghost Valley tracks from Super Mario Kart, even down to the music a little bit, with that one motif, you know the one. Despite the shortcomings of the Game Boy Advance sound quality, I thought it was a pretty good track. It was definitely spooky, but instead of it being a fun spooky, it actually has like a sense of dread to it. And as much as I like the Game Boy Advance original for the track, I think the arrangement for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is actually a lot better. And I'm not saying it because it's newer and it's on better sound hardware, but when I originally listened to the track, I didn't even really notice the drums all that much for it, and I thought the drums were really cool on the arrangement. And I'm actually pretty impressed with the electronic aspect of the arrangement as well. And I think as more and more the waves come out for the booster course pass, the more I feel satisfied with the soundtrack for it. Is it just seems like it gets better and better. And at the time of recording and the release of the episode, we're only waiting for one more wave to come out and the entire booster course pass is complete. Remember at the beginning of the episode when I said that there was probably some obvious picks in this episode? Well, this next track is going to be an obvious one, and of course, I would be playing some kind of Castlevania track on the show, and that it was a pretty safe bet that Super Castlevania 4 was going to be the game that I would play a track from. And that track is going to be The Submerged City, and that was composed by Masanori Adachi and Taro Kudo. track that you just heard, that was The Submerged City from the game Super Castlevania 4, and it was composed by Masanori Adachi and Taro Kudo. I always associate Castlevania with Halloween, and it's mainly because of the very obvious spooky related reasons, like the whole killing vampires thing. But after having a conversation on the VGM Journey Discord about Super Castlevania 4 with fan Heat Override, it just made a lot of sense to me to play a track from that game on the show. And the Submerged City definitely brings that spookiness to the song with its organ playing, and strangely, the bass works well for the song. So I don't know, it sounds a little jazzy to me. And it's definitely got that walking around in the middle of the night kind of vibe to it, which I would say for the protagonist, Simon Belmont, I don't think it's gonna be an easy thing because you have all these monsters that are trying to kill you. So you have to whip them to death. And I realized that it was a bit of a missed opportunity for me to play through Super Castlevania 4 and actually beat it. So I do enjoy the game quite a bit, but I've never went all the way through with it. And that maybe at some point I will actually do that. We're going to move on to something that's not exactly spooky, but I like to say that it's a Halloween adjacent kind of track, and that it is coming from the game Dusk. The track is Murder Machine Inc., and it was composed by Andrew Hulshult. That track that you guys just heard, that was Murder Machine Inc. from the game Dusk, and it was composed by Andrew Hulshult. That's going to just about do it for the show today. If you guys like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and now we are on TerraPlayer, which has been doing some really good things lately and has been hosting a handful of VGM podcasts, so definitely check that out. You can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com, and you could also check us out on X at VGM Journey. We also have a Discord server for the show, which I will provide a link in the show notes, where you could hang out with your fellow VGM journeymen and talk about games, music, and even look at some cool art. I'm also going to play out with one more track, and this is coming from Killer Instinct, specifically Season 1. This is Lycanthropy, which is Saberwolf's theme, and that was composed by Mick Gordon. Have a good one, everyone.